Welcome to Prairie Hubtech. My name is Jessica Womack and I am your host today. Prairie Hubtech is located in Omaha, Nebraska. We are a STEM-based program supporting local area talent. We'd like to thank our sponsor, Go Go Greenie. Mom said eat your greens. Welcome to cyber hygiene. Did you know? $20 billion. That is the estimated cost for 2021's ransomware damage. So how can you protect yourself against ransomware and keep your information safe? Well, I have some tips for you. Number one, make sure that you always change the settings in your email. I know I said this before, but it's so important that when people are sending you emails, that the links are disabled. Why, you might ask me? Well, ransomware is a type of malicious software that actually can be activated through a link. And what it does is it prevents access to your computer. Let's say you went on a vacation, all those beautiful photos, you're in Cabo San Lucas, guess what? If a hacker gets into that and they want to ransom that information, you have to pay to get those photos back. So, number two, never click on a link from a suspicious or an unknown sender. Even if it's your best friend or your aunt or your uncle and you think maybe their social media page has been compromised, don't click on those links. Social media is one of the easiest ways that hackers can get to your personal information. And number three, change all computer passwords. If you have been attacked by a form of ransomware, assume that nothing is safe because ransomware, what they're looking for is your most personal information as well as information that you're willing to pay for. So assume any password that you've used or saved to that computer, expect it to be compromised and you'll have to change it. Well, that's all for this week's Cyber Hygiene. If you have any questions, feel free to add us on Cyber Ready in the Prairie. You can follow us on Prairie Hubtech on Facebook. We're on LinkedIn. We're on Instagram. Follow us and tell us what you think about today's Cyber Hygiene. All right, Beat on the Street. This is where we get to feature you at home. And we would like to say thank you to all of our new followers. We really love it when you guys share, when you like, when you post. So we want to say thank you to all of our new followers this week. And don't go anywhere just yet, because when you come back, we're going to go to tech support and we're going to learn about how you can get involved in STEM in the Omaha area.
KPAO Community Television, handmade in Omaha since 2013.
And welcome back to Prairie Hubtech. And now we have our tech support and we're here with Victoria Novak. Welcome, Victoria, to our show.
Yes, happy to be here.
Thank you so much. So introduce to our viewers, who are you and how did you arrive at your current position?
Okay, so it's Victoria Novak and I'm the Director of Workforce and IT Innovation at Metropolitan Community College. And we are what I would consider the non-credit short-term workforce training side of the college. So where everybody knows MCC for their associate degree programs, we serve over 40,000 students annually. Our side really is meant to align with business and industry and provide them exactly what they need in customized training. And so our most recent project being the MCC Code School.
Yeah.
So that's, and where I got here from is a great story. Probably not the time to tell it all, but I was in the private sector for over 2 decades and I jumped into nonprofit. That's my technology start, and now into higher education, so I can help build the workforce in a variety of ways.
Wow, so that's amazing. So let me just recap. So basically you were in a different industry for about 2 decades, and now you're moving forward. And what I understand, especially from your social media posts, as well as just the social engagements with other people, that you really have a passion for our community. And as you're saying, you have about 40,000 students that are coming into MCC. You're also working with businesses that are here in Omaha, and you're trying to funnel that talent into those corporations. And can you tell us a little bit more about the code program or the code school that MCC is coming up with? It seems very innovative and out of the box, and I just want to pick your mind, like, what is this?
Yes, for sure. So I see it as kind of my baby. It was the first project that I really got to take a hold of, and I'm so grateful for the autonomy that I've received to build a team of people who are really the experts behind it. And so we're not your normal boot camp. We are not really focused on the foundations. We have great credit side programs at MCC that take care of the foundational, and we actually want to serve businesses to upskill their employees, or people who have a foundation of the programming skills to get into this to upskill themselves and get into a higher livable wage or beyond. A really good example would be a young man who actually moved from Grand Island, Nebraska just to be a part of our code school.
Wow.
So he had the great foundation of technical programming skills. He made it through our intake process, and he is now going to thrive in this 9-month immersive program. Hopefully on the other side of it, going into one of these great tech companies that absolutely need him.
Wow, that's amazing. And that's dedication too on your students' part, coming all the way from Grand Island. For those that are not from Nebraska, Grand Island is about maybe a 3-hour drive from the Omaha metro area. So for someone to pick up their life and to come here and say, this program is exactly what I need. So one of the interesting things you said is that you're not a traditional code camp, but actually you're looking at the business side, and you're also talking about upskilling. So how important is it for someone to stay current in their skills? Let's just say I do CSS and HTML. How important is it for me to learn other skills and to grow within a company?
See, and I think that's the key. So it all really did start with the tech talent initiatives that are across the state. And what we heard businesses say is that we don't want people who just have the technical skill set. We want people who understand the agile work environment, who understand program increments and understand, the process of Scrum activity through the development program. We want somebody who is a team player, who can effectively communicate with other people. And so there's so much that goes into what we've built around the code school, where what we heard is we don't want somebody just to come out with HTML, CSS, Java, JavaScript. You can do those technical skills in a variety of ways. You can do them online. There's a lot of programs out there, but this gives you the whole person. Our program is set up in a flipped classroom where we have a 5-to-1 student to instructor ratio, so we have hands-on learning at all times. The immersive part of it is that they're learning the technical skills along with the project management in a real work setting. And so the key would be that at the 9-month period, if they're in their current role, they're hopefully going to upskill. We have somebody from a call center position who had basic programming skills who now can go into a development position, potentially at $50,000, $60,000 a year or more, depending. So it's the whole person. It's not just a technical skills.
Wow, that's awesome. I love the fact that you all are looking at the whole person. And also with upskilling, it's like, okay, we have an entry-level job. Maybe I'll stay with this entry-level job for 5-10 years. However, with upskilling, you're saying they're learning Agile, they're learning Scrum, they're learning Kanban. I mean, these are huge buzzwords that people might hear, but if you're actually in these organizations, this is your everyday life. So the fact that you're combining that with coding, I mean, that's really powerful. You're definitely creating a unique package that I think people will find valuable. And as you said, someone already came from Grand Island just to come to this program, so that's awesome. So we talked about adults, but I have a question for you. What about children? What about our youth? What about our teenagers? What can they do, or what can parents do to engage their children into STEM at a very early age?
See, I think you said the key word, what can parents do? And so I believe that there are a variety of pockets of learning opportunities for students, whether it's in their schools or after-school programs or nonprofits that are involved. Omaha STEM ecosystem is meant to be a connector across Omaha for all STEM activities. There's Girls Who Code, there's Mystery Code Society. I think the key, though, is that parents have to stay involved with these opportunities that are available, because if the parents aren't the champion behind it, which we all know that children don't always just look up to celebrities, they look up to their parents as their role model. If the parents know about it and they support that and champion it, then those children are going to be able to have an opportunity to experience technology in a meaningful way, but then have that pipeline into what's next, and then we keep them here instead of going to East and West. And so that's the point.
Wow, okay, why not? When you think about it, especially parents being the champion, you see parents, they're at Little League, they're at baseball, they're at gymnastics. I mean, we have this idea in this culture where it's okay to help funnel your children through sports, but now it's like changing, let's funnel them through STEM. Let's get them into math, science, medicine, technology. So I think that's really interesting that you're talking about Mystery Code Society, Girls Who Code. So there are those entities out there that they can definitely get plugged in and they can go forward. So my other question is, what about people who are in a different career, who are saying, you know what, I am stuck, I've hit a wall. Is it possible for them to learn how to code or learn how to do Agile and Scrum? Is it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So with our first cohort, we have 18 students. Of those 18 students, 6 of those students are not currently with a company right now. Oh, wow. So we will have 6 students coming out of that are looking for employment with some great employers out there. Many of them did not have technical careers. So, you know, if they have a basic programming knowledge, which they could have gotten from Code Academy, right? They could have gotten that. And if they have the right mindset, we actually in our code school have state funding available that funded 6 students all the way through the entire program.
So those that maybe they like math, maybe they like science, so they just want to stay on the math or the science side. How do you address those types of personalities or those types of aptitudes towards math and science to come over to the coding side?
That's a great question. Again, I think it comes down to experiences. Regardless of the age that you're at, there's something out there for everybody.
Sure.
DoSpace has Hello Code. That is not just for children. You can go in there and you can learn your basic foundations of code. I know that when I did 14 hours of code with a local code school, I learned HTML. I built my own website because here's the thing. I do consider myself tech adjacent. Nice. To the tech community. I am here to push forward and trailblaze in that way, but I could not speak the language without trying it first, and I'm that way with everything. So to go out there and build my own website and have that experience, I think that's what gets people excited about what's possible.
Awesome. So you said that you're code adjacent. So I have a question for you. What's the friendliest computer program for those that are, well, I might be able to do this? So you said HTML, CSS, you did a 14-hour program. So what's something that's friendly for children, friendly for adults? They might want to make the leap into this 9-month program, but they just need to have some type of interface with it first. What would you suggest?
Truly, I would suggest DoSpace. I think that what they've built in Hello, and I think it depends on the age. So if you have a younger age group, Mystery Code Society for young girls, I believe it's middle school through, or maybe it's 5th grade through high school. Hello Code at DoSpace offers a good experience. Metropolitan Community College's 2-year programs that they have in the information technology is a great pathway, then potentially into a 4-year degree, or possibly even jumping into our immersive program. So I think the key is, what does, it's that first experience, and then what do they see after that, and how are we providing access and opportunity and information to get there?
Awesome. That's amazing. Well, we're going to get ready to wrap up this segment, and before we get ready to leave, I want to say, Victoria Novak, thank you so much for coming on our show today. And is there anything that you can give our viewers back at home, any tidbit of advice, any mantra that they can follow? What do you have for them?
Honestly, anything is possible. Okay. You're looking at somebody who I reinvented my entire career, but maybe 4 years ago. Wow. And so, yeah, anything's possible. If there's an idea out there and you have somebody who's giving you an opportunity, experience it, because you don't know what might be on the other side, and it could be something great.
Wow, amazing. Thank you so much, Victoria. Well, you heard it. She said anything is possible. And don't go just yet, because when we come back, we're going to go to Code Camp.
KPAO Community Television, handmade in Omaha since 2013.
Welcome back to Prairie Hubtech. Now it's time for Code Camp, and today we're going to learn about HTML and HTML5. So let's start learning the web and let's move forward. So HTML versus HTML5, what is it and why do people keep talking about it? Well, HTML is basically, it's the underlying structure of the web page. So think of the building blocks. Before you can build a huge Lego castle, you have to have your foundation. HTML serves as that type of foundation. And also, it's compatible with pretty much every web browser. HTML5, it takes it to another level. HTML5, it provides full support for JavaScript and also supports audio and video. The internet has blown up. So in order to catch up with it, HTML5 was developed. So what careers use HTML? Well, you can be a front-end web developer, a software engineer, or even UI UX design. All of these careers use HTML in some way or fashion. So what are the benefits of using HTML or HTML5? One, it's beginner-friendly. It's a beginner-friendly language with a wide base of users across various industries. Typically, this is the first language that people learn. So there are so many tutorials for various age ranges as well as various technology adaptations. Also, it has strong documentation. Multiple sites have templates that new and seasoned developers can use. So you can say, I don't really want to code everything by hand. Well, lucky enough for you, there are templates. Also, page ranking. This is really important if you have a business or if you have a personal website. HTML gets a higher score on search engines. So what happens is that it goes through and it tallies. Whenever you type in a search on Google, it actually tallies through. And those with HTML, they typically get searched higher or ranked higher. So it's really important for businesses. The drawbacks of using HTML and HTML5, browser support. So like I said earlier, HTML1, like your basic HTML, it's pretty much supported all around. But HTML5, it is not the same story. HTML5, it's only supported by some browsers. So if you're building a website or an application, you really have to take that into mind that certain segments might not have access to your site. Also, it's time consuming to code a page using HTML. And some businesses, they just don't have the resources for a dedicated developer. And HTML, it's so wordy and verbose. It's not like Python or WordPress where you can just put in plugins. You actually really have to code a lot. And the language for non-native English speakers, they can find that it has limited support or flexibility since it is based on English. So let's talk about some examples and how you at home can get immersed in HTML. So today we're going to learn how to create headings in HTML. We're also going to learn how to create paragraphs using HTML, and we're going to learn how to style with it as well as create background colors. So let's get started on our coding. So first up, we have headings. And as you can see, we have headings and it goes all the way from 1 to 6. 1 being the highest number, so you can see it's pretty big. And then number 6 is so teeny tiny. So make sure that you're understanding with the heading styles that you're actually looking for 1 is your greatest, 6 is your least. So let's go ahead and let's play in here. So we're in our body. And this H1 just means heading 1, H2, heading 2, and so forth. So I can click in between here, and let's see this work. So let's say Prairie Hub Tech. Now let's press the run button, and I'm using the W3 Schools tutorial as well as their inline coding environment. It's really wonderful because if you say, I'm not downloading all this software, I don't even have space on my computer, you can actually use their online web developer. It's so amazing. I love it. So now we have our heading 1. So let's say, oh, that's awesome. We have Prairie Hubtech 1. It's in huge letters. And let's just say, thank you. And let's see how that turns out. In tiny, tiny letters, but all right. So now you know how to do a heading. Very simple. Once again, this is a W3 Schools tutorial. You can copy and paste it. That's the wonderful thing about HTML. Everyone just copies and pastes and they alter it as they need. So now what we're going to do is we're going to create a paragraph. In a paragraph, we typically use paragraphs because we want to say information. So you think of English class, your sentences, your paragraphs. But in HTML, your paragraph, we're just going to put some information. So your headings, those are like, welcome to my site, Prairie Hubtech. But then here on your heading, you can do your sub information. So let's come in here to our P tag. So one thing that we're seeing here, we're doing open brackets. And in between the brackets, we're going to put a P. And the P stands for paragraph, simple enough. And then in between the brackets, we're going to put our message. We're going to say, look at you learning HTML. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a paragraph closing tab. So we're going to put a /P and we're going to run it. Look at you learning HTML. And everything within these brackets, within this paragraph tag, is going to be shown. So if there's something that you don't want there, don't put it inside because it's going to show. It's very literal language. All right, so now you know how to do a paragraph. Very simple. Now we're going to talk about color because the world needs more color. So what we're going to do is we're in our body. We have our paragraph tag, our P tags. It says we're going to put in a message here and we're going to say, hello, Prairie Hubtech Nation. All right, so the P tag. Now we're going to use this word style. And style, what that means is that we're going to change the color. You can also change the size. You can change if you want it bold or italic. So what we're going to do is we're going to say, because I like green, we're going to change this red to green. And we're going to say, I am green. So, hello Prairie Hubtech Nation, I am green. It's very simple. That's the really wonderful thing about HTML is that it was built very early, so it's quite simple. The only bad thing is that you have to type quite a bit. So let's go ahead and let's talk about backgrounds. I love background colors. This is where it can get either really crazy or really fun, sometimes both. So we're going to use our headings. Remember earlier we had our H1, H2, H3, and they got smaller as we went. So we're going to do an H1 style. Remember our style is going to talk about our colors. And it says background color, and we're going to do blue, because blue is cool too. So blue. And now I say, oh, I don't want an H1. Let's just make it different. Let's go H2. And look, it's smaller now. So it's so simple. You just remember H1 is big, H6 is small. So now you know how to create a heading, you know how to create a paragraph, as well as how to color with your style and to make background colors. All right, so I hope that you enjoyed learning about HTML and HTML5, and we want to learn about you, what you're coding at home, what kind of side projects you're working on. So go ahead and feel free to @ us, show us your code, screenshot it at Prairie Code Challenge. So we want to learn, we want to see how you're using headings, using HTML, using a paragraph, using HTML, as well as changing your background colors using HTML. And if you think that you're ready for it, try HTML5 as well. Okay, happening in the Omaha area this week, we have some amazing events that are going on. I hope that you guys get out of your house, bear the code, and go to these places. So on October 22nd, we have Omaha Virtual Reality Meetup Group, and it's at MCC, and they're doing the AT VR tour and discussion. So if you want to see some VR in the local Omaha area, you definitely want to go on this tour. Also, on October 24th, we have Omaha Tech Security Conference. You don't want to miss this. If you love our cyber hygiene segment, trust me, you will want to know what's going on in the tech world, especially when it comes to security. On November 5th, we have Nebraska JS, and that's going to be held at Blue Cross Blue Shield in Nebraska. So it's a really good way to network as well as learn about JS. So on November 7th, we have Omaha Women in Machine Learning and Data Science. Data science is it. It's the future. So if you want to learn about machine learning as well as data science, this is a good way to get your feet wet and talk to people in the local area. On November 12th, we have the Google Developer Group, and it's their monthly meeting. So if you want to see what's going on in Android and how you can join the Android wave, definitely want to reach out to these people. And on November 15th, we have a panel discussion, and it's going to talk about the local data science changes, trends, and opportunities. Can't get enough Prairie Hubtech? Well, guess what? You can find out more about us online. We're on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. You can watch our videos on demand. So feel free to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.